It's Coaster Battleman here, ranking all of the B&Ms I've ridden. This is part 2, number 15 through number 1. Let's get started. 15 is Raptor at Cedar Point. This is a really good B&M invert, and the quickest way to describe it would be Batman ride amped to 11, because this coaster is just as intense but offers a completely unique layout. This is an awesome coaster. It's so intense. The elements are excellent. And even though there might be some headbanging on some of the corkscrews and cobra rolls at times, it's not terrible. And this is a very intense coaster. I really enjoy it. It's fast. It sustains its speed throughout the ride. And it's just a really fun coaster. 14 is Wildfire at Silver City, and this is a very stunning B&M sit-down coaster. And even though this coaster, unfortunately, the duration isn't that good, even though the duration is a bit short, this is an excellent coaster. Every element on this coaster is fantastic. It's smooth as can be, and it has a great color scheme, and it interacts really well with the terrain, and the views are excellent. 13 is Manta at SeaWorld Orlando. This is an awesome B&M flying coaster. That pretzel loop is by far the best part of the ride and one of the greatest elements on any coaster I've ridden. And the rest of the course doesn't really meander around nearly as much as Superman Ultimate Flight. It actually has a lot more inversions, and there's some pretty cool theming in the queue line as well, as there are several fish tanks where you can look at all the different sea creatures, and it's really cool and interactive. Number 12 is Gatekeeper at Cedar Point, and this is an excellent B&M wing coaster. It's held up over time, it's pretty smooth, the inversions are excellent, and that floater airtime hill actually does give you airtime on this coaster. And it's a really fun coaster. I really like all the elements on this coaster, except for the out of place closing helix. They could have had a really nice zero G roll, JoJo roll, some kind of rollover inversion to close out the coaster. But that's alright. This is an excellent coaster the way it is. 11th is Apollo's Chariot at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, and this is the OG B&M hypercoaster. It has excellent floater airtime and a traditional out and back layout. It's a really solid coaster, and I really enjoy it. 10th place is Orion at Kings Island, and this is the newest B&M that I've ridden and the most recent B&M that I've ridden. This is a massive giga coaster with an excellent layout, and it's basically a perfect ride just like Wildfire, but the only problem is that duration. And it does have a slight rattle as well, but the rattle didn't really bother me at all. But overall, Orion is an excellent giga coaster. Beautiful, picturesque, has some solid theming, and a very strong layout despite the short duration. 9th place is Incredible Hulk at Universal's Islands of Adventure. This is an awesome B&M sit-down coaster. It has a launched lift hill with the drive tire system and several insane inversions throughout the ride, along with music playing as well. This is just an excellent coaster. It's very intense. The inversions are all excellent, and the music really does make a difference in making this coaster so good. And I really enjoy this coaster as it goes over the water, and it's just like a perfect sit down looping coaster. It's excellent. 8th place is Raging Bull at Six Flags Great America. The best coaster in the park, in my opinion, currently. And this is an excellent B&M. It's an excellent ride. Has great airtime. That drop is excellent. The bank turns are really good. And overall, it's just a really fun ride. 7th is Afterburn at Carowinds. This is the best B&M inverted coaster I've ridden. It's intense as can be. It goes through some terrain as well, and it has some really fun elements. Number 6 is Kumba at Busch Gardens, Tampa, and this is an old school B&M sit down looping coaster, and I wish more B&M sit down looping coasters were made because this is my second favorite model of coaster, and Kumba is the pinnacle of this type of coaster. It has 7 inversions and a really long ride experience. It's very smooth despite its age, and it's just a very cool experience, and it's so much fun. It's pretty intense, and it's just a really well rounded coaster. Fifth place is Diamondback at Kings Island. Despite the slight rattle this coaster has, this ride has insane airtime. The floater airtime is non-stop. There are so many floater airtime hills. The drop is excellent as well. The water splashdown is really cool, and you can get wet if you're on those outer seats, especially if you're in the back row. And even in the inner seats in the back row, you can get kind of wet on that water splashdown. But overall, Diamondback is an excellent B&M hyper and a top 10 coaster that I've ridden. Number 4 is Thunderbird at Holiday World, and Thunderbird is excellent. It has a very fun launch, tons of really good inversions and bank turns, and despite only being about a minute long, that entire minute is going through the entire layout and not through a chain lift. And this coaster is excellent, it's fast, it's smooth, and it's just so much fun. Number 3 is Intimidator at Carowinds. Imagine Diamondback, but with crazier, bigger hills and a bit smoother of a ride experience. That's what Intimidator is. This is an excellent coaster, and I really want to get back on it. This is a top 5 coaster I've ever ridden, and it's so much fun, super smooth, graceful, and so enjoyable. Second place is Mako at SeaWorld Orlando. This is an L-shaped out and back B&M hypercoaster, and it's so excellent. Every element on this coaster is phenomenal. There's some really cool turns, great airtime hills, and a beautiful color scheme and a glossy, smooth coaster experience. And this is an excellent ride. 10 out of 10, easily. But number 1 is Fury 325, and it's no contest. This coaster has really impacted Carowinds and made them a huge, big-time destination park. This ride is the best roller coaster in the world, in my opinion, and it does not disappoint. It has excellent airtime, a huge drop, speed, good intensity, and the treble clef element as well. And this is basically Mako amped to 11. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, stay tuned for more videos.